Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, still Wednesday. For those of you that have followed this channel for any length of time, you pretty much know what we do around here. We find the facts, we analyze the facts, and we try to figure out going forward what's actually going on. Figuring these things out that the media won't tell us. We put all the puzzle pieces together, all right? Last night on the live stream, we talked quite a bit about what's going on in Hawaii. Everybody knows about the fires at Lahaina, whole 9 yards. We talked about in a video yesterday that, Larry Ellison and his 141 square mile island that he owns, that's about 40 miles away from Lahaina, what his goals are for it, right? That he wants to make this some eco-sustainable 15-minute city for all practical intents and purposes. He owns everything. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. Okay? You'll understand where I'm going with this one. So last night, a few of you guys were telling me about stories already coming out that real estate agents and investors were already calling people. Some of you sent me videos. NBC News had a video of one person talking about already being called by investors asking if they wanted to sell their property or their house had burned down for a discounted price. Let's just say that. I can't say pennies on the dollar, but 99 cents would be pennies on the dollar. So at a discounted price. The governor of Florida, Joh Green, came out yesterday stomping his feet, adamant that he was not going to let this happen, that he was not going to let foreign investors come in and buy. This is his quote. It's going to be a very long time before any growth or housing can be built. So you will be pretty poorly informed if you try to steal land from our people and then build here. I will try to allow no one from outside our state to buy any land until we get through this crisis and decide what Lahaina should be in the future. Okay? And that was what got picked up by the media all over the place. That Joh Green is standing up for the Hawaiian people and he's not going to let people come in and steal their land or anything like that. Right? Sounds good. That's what the media reported. What they forgot about, and this is typical of the brainwashing of the American public, was his other quotes. And I want you to understand this one. Again, this is verbatim. Joh Green. We want this to be something we remember after the pain passes as a magic place. Lahaina will rebuild. The tragedy right now is the loss of life. The buildings can be rebuilt over time. Even the banyan tree may survive. But we don't want this to become a clear space where then people from overseas just come and decide they're going to take it. The state will take it and preserve it first. You like that last line? The state will take it and preserve it first. So Joh Green isn't telling everybody the people can rebuild. Joh Green is telling the people that the state will rebuild. Congratulations, you will now be in the Hawaiian 15-minute city. The state will come in and rebuild beautiful apartments and grocery stores and drugstores and gas stations and yada, yada, yada. And everything will be within a 15-minute walk. That's where this is leading. Somebody asked me last night and said, why would they do something like that? The tourism is so wonderful there on Lahaina. They don't want to give up those tourist dollars. Think about this for a second. You go on vacation to Hawaii. You go to Maui. You're going to stay in a hotel in Lahaina. You pay for your hotel room for a week. You go eat in some restaurants. Maybe you buy some souvenirs. And in a week, you go home. That's it. The well's dry. There's no more money coming from you. Okay? But if they make a 15-minute city where everybody is captured in that city, you spend the money on the apartment rent that the state will take it and preserve it first, paid for by, owned by the state. Okay. You will eat in the state restaurant. You will buy your groceries at the state grocery store. You will buy your gasoline at the state gas station, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And those in power, the oligarchs, will be the ones that profit. The rest of you, well, you'll get to go wherever you want within 15 minutes, right? What better place to test pilot a 15-minute city than an island where you can't get in and you can't get out? I'm sorry, we're not letting any planes land here. I'm sorry, we're not letting any ships come in. I'm sorry, we're not letting any planes go out. We're not letting any ships go out. It's a long damn swim to Los Angeles. Okay? So you have a captive audience that can't go anywhere. Even if they manage to get out of the 15-minute city, there's nowhere to go. You're stuck there. Okay? So the state will take it and preserve it first, right? Joh Green's quote. Let's take a look at the federal government's involvement here, Joe Biden's involvement here. Now, y'all probably heard last week, because this has now been going on for 8 or 9 days with this whole fire. Last week, the Biden administration was trying to force the hand of the Republicans that the only way the Biden administration was going to approve any sort of aid for the Hawaiian people was if the Republicans agreed to more aid for the Ukrainian people. Now, in case you don't know, Hawaii is a U.S. state. Ukraine is not. So for all you Democrats out there, just want to let you know, Ukraine is not one of the United States. They don't pay taxes to us. None of their money is being spent by our federal government. Well, there was enough pressure, and yesterday, Potato Joe came out and agreed to give federal relief to the Hawaiian people who were affected by this, okay, to the tune of $700 a person. Now, if you remember what I talked about a week or so ago on the cost of housing, Hawaii is the only state in the country where the average mortgage is over $5,000 a month. Okay, California's second at about $4,800. So Joe has given everybody $700. So in order to pay the mortgage for 1 month, you only need to have 8 people in your house. And congratulations, between the 8 of you, you have an extra $600 to buy food, pay an electric bill, get water, whatever it would be. Okay, that's what it would take. $700 a month is what he authorized for the people. Okay. Now, of course, if you live in Ukraine, that's a different animal. We have given $112 billion to the population of Ukraine. Ukraine had, keyword had, a population of 36 million people, 1/10 the size of the United States. Roughly 18 million of them, half of their population, has already moved somewhere else in Europe. Okay. If you take $112 billion and divide it by 36 million people, the full population, what it was before the war started, Joe gave the people of Ukraine $3,000 per person. If you talk about the people that are still there, that would be $6,000 per person. Joe gave $700 to the people who live in the United States, in a blue state that voted for him. Okay? But I'm betting Joe doesn't have any sort of deal with Josh Green to get 10% to the big guy. Okay? There was a tweet that the Biden administration put out yesterday. Okay? Now I want you to take a look at this. The tweet says, investing in America means investing in all of America. When I ran for president, I made a promise that I would leave no part of the country behind. That's the press secretary putting a tweet up from speaking for Joe Biden. That tweet has been deleted by the press secretary. But as you all know, what goes on the internet ain't ever going away. Okay? Can't get rid of it. That was deleted because Joe may have made a promise that he'd leave no part of the country left behind. The people in Hawaii may disagree, okay? Because $700 didn't go anywhere. You're not finding a place to rent for $700. Maybe if 3 or 4 of you live together, if you can find a place, might be able to afford somewhere to rent. Okay. So where are all these people going? Are they going to Oprah's house? Are they going to Bezos's house? Are they going to Larry Ellison's house? No. I'm not thinking that the Obamas are letting people stay in their guest house. Okay. But they're all sure out there going, donate to this charity or donate to this cause to help the people. No. Okay. Face it, you are on your own. Nobody is coming to help you. Ever. $700. Remember the last time the government handed out money a few years ago? Look what that got us. In the last 2 years, we have seen 12% inflation. That's what happens when the government prints money and hands it out. $700 isn't squat. But what will it do to the Hawaiian economy? What will it do to the U.S. economy? Well, it'll drive inflation up a little bit because that $700 has to come from somewhere. So whether it's we're borrowing more money or we're printing more money, it's got to come from somewhere. It certainly isn't coming back from Ukraine. Joe's asking for more money to send to Ukraine today. He wants another $25 billion, I think it is now. Billion, okay? Joe wants more money to send to Ukraine than he wants to send to his own people in Hawaii. Joe hasn't gone to Hawaii. Joe doesn't want to go to Hawaii. Joe doesn't want to get in the way of the recovery efforts. Joe said he and Jill will eventually go to Hawaii. You can bet he and Jill will eventually go to Hawaii. They'll probably stay on a different island. They'll probably sit on the beach drinking Mai Tais. Maybe a photo op or two will be taken on Lahaina. Questions answered? I doubt it. There's a 12-mile circle around Lahaina keeping the press out because the government doesn't want the media, doesn't want the people to see what's actually going on there. Okay? The truth is being hidden from you, and we blindly accept it. Josh Green said the state will come in and take over. And the state will build its nice little apartment complexes and all its state-run businesses where you will be told, if you live there, where you're going to live, where you're going to work, where you're going to shop, what you can buy, where you can go, what your curfew is, etc., etc., etc. You will be told how to live. As long as you live under their rules, you're fine. If you don't want to live under their rules, you're not allowed. People are willing to give up their freedom for safety, or at least the promise thereof. You know where that comes from? That's Karl Marx. That's one of the foremost tenets of communism. And that's what we've got coming in Hawaii. Thanks to Joh Green and Joe Biden.